Atlanta Motor Speedway, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, getting ready for the green flag in the Aaron's 312. Winston Cup practice has ended for the day, and we're approaching the pre-race ceremonies for today's Busch Series event. Now, qualifying for today's wet race was rained out, so the field was set by the NASCAR rulebook, and that put the two championship contenders side by side on the front row. Now, Greg Biffle's hopes of racing away with the Busch Series championship came crashing to earth last Sunday in Memphis. So today he starts next to Jason Keller with a 105-point lead in the race for the championship. To the front row we go, and Dave Burns.
And the car that Greg wrecked in last week was a dominant car. Greg, this weekend, what kind of car do you have here? A car that was good for one lap on the sheet here, or one that's going to be good all day?
I think one that's going to be good all day. You know, we ran pretty good here before, tested a Cup car here, and was really good with the Cup car. And we felt that gave us confidence that our Busch car is going to be pretty close. And just got to watch out for, you know, what I'm doing today. Keep my head on straight and just pay attention to what's up in front of me.
And watch out for those lapped race cars. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Day 4 races remain for Jason Keller to cut into Greg Biffle's 105-point lead. He's never scored a top 5 finish here in Atlanta. You spent 2 days here testing. Jason, will it pay off today?
We think it will. The conditions were similar when we tested, so with very limited time on the racetrack, we think we did. Hopefully we're going to make the right decision. I'd like to say hi to Deb and the kids back home. They were unable to come in because of the weather, but we're just going to do our best to try to keep this Albertsons Ford up front.
Keller starts second. Marty Snyder.
Well, Matt, last week's winner, Scott Wimmer, will start 4th today. In fact, he's won 2 out of the last 4 races, and he loves this racetrack. Can you make it 3 out of 5, Scott?
We're sure going to try. We got a great race car here today, and got a sponsor this week. AMI Semiconductors come on board to help us out, and you know, we're going to give it a shot. Got a lot of good Winston Cup guys in the field today, but like our chances.
He's run here in the Busch Series and the Winston Cup Series, and in that Winston Cup race, he led, Bill.
Thanks, Marty. Now, as you saw during our coverage of NASCAR Winston Cup final practice, weather could be a factor here this afternoon. Rain is moving toward the track, and teams will have to take that into consideration as this race approaches the halfway mark. Tomorrow, it's the Napa 500 for the Winston Cup Series. Our coverage begins with the Discover Card Countdown to Green at noon Eastern Time on NBC Sports. We'll start it off by talking to the top 5 guys in the championship standings. Then we'll explore the need for speed here at Atlanta and the concentration required to complete 500 miles. Benny Parsons will have the Golden Benny, Wally on safety inside the car, and Dave Burns ×3. Again, it begins at noon Eastern Time with the Discover Card Countdown to Green leading up to the Napa 500 tomorrow on NBC Sports. And remember, if you don't watch the countdown, you start the race a lap down. We're getting ready to start the Busch Series race here, and here are 3 guys always looking to get their lap back, and they aren't afraid to use their bumper to do it. Alan, Wally, and Benny.
Nice of you to have let Benny back in the booth for this, Wally. Appreciate that.
Yeah, well,
thanks, Wally.
Yeah.
You're on probation.
Okay. Ooh, wow, good start. 2 words: speed and experience.
Yeah, so we have a lot of speed at this racetrack. One of the fastest, if not the fastest track on the entire circuit in the NASCAR Busch Series, and inexperienced 15 drivers that have not run a NASCAR's Busch Series race at this racetrack. And while this racetrack is tough.
Yeah, when inexperience here at Atlanta can be very intimidating. It's a very fast racetrack, so these guys are going to have to be really paying attention today.
And if the weather does close in, things could get really tricky around halfway with these crew chiefs down on pit road. Fuel strategy could be a drama-filled afternoon here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Trackside ceremonies are next.
Marshal, Mr. Ken Butler, the president of Aaron's.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Now just moments away from the start of the Aaron's 312. A look at the lineup and the green flag with NASCAR on TNT continues. Drivers and their cars rolling off the pit lane onto the Atlanta Motor Speedway, set to begin the longest race of the NASCAR Busch Series season, the Aaron's 312. Now, because qualifying was postponed by rain yesterday, the field lined up according to provisions in the NASCAR rulebook. Top 35 are owner points, followed by qualifying attempts, former winners, former champions, and that kind of thing. While you look at the grid, I'll tell you that some of the Winston Cup hot dogs, like, say, Mikey Waltrip, or pinned pretty far back in the field.
Well, let's just talk to Michael Waltrip and see what he thinks about that. Michael Waltrip, Benny Parsons, you got me?
I got you, Benny. You got me. They're having trouble hearing me.
Yeah, the radio doesn't sound too good, but you're starting 32nd. Any concerns about that?
Just those other 31 guys ahead of me. Other than that, not really. The Aaron Street machine was great at practice. The Aaron Street 12, you know, I need to win it. We had this car in one race so far. It set on the pole and ran second in Charlotte. So we're expecting a good result today.
Hey, Michael, how does it feel to represent the sponsor of the race? You got to do good.
It feels great to have a sponsor like Aaron's, man. They're my partner more than my sponsor. We decide when we're going to race, where we're going to race, what we're going to do together, and it's just really a rewarding feeling to have such a corporate partner like I do in Aaron. Plus, they got DW doing commercials. Benny, you seen him?
Yeah, I did see him. He looks awfully good doing that.
Not as good as you did laid up in that big race car last week, taking a few laps. How'd that feel getting back behind the wheel?
Well, it's pretty cramped in there, Michael.
Okay, I might tell you a few reasons why that might be, but we'll get with you on that later.
I'd appreciate that very much, buddy. Good luck to you.
Fun calling the race today.
Good luck, Michael.
Always an adventure.
You know, Walt, it sounded like his radio had something to do with the engine.
Yeah.
Because as he accelerated, the noise level went up.
Yeah.
Ignition noise.
Yeah, there's ignition through the radio. That could be a problem later.
That could be.
Like the AM radio in my old 69 Dodge Dart. Did you ever have one of those?
No, I never had a Dodge Dart BP.
No, I didn't either.
That's all I could afford, okay? All right, couple more pace laps before we go green. Let's get some final stories from pit road. Here's Matt Yoakum.
Allen Jeff Green will roll off third. He's chasing the 3 Ps today. Prize money, prestige, and points, hunting a car owners championship for owner Richard Childress. But the biggest agenda today is getting back to victory lane, a place he hasn't seen since May in Charlotte. The car very good in practice, but they really wanted to have that final practice session, but rain didn't permit it. Optimism is high about their 3rd win this season coming today. Today, Burns.
Matt, for Jamie McMurray, the announcement that he'd go Winston Cup racing next year coincided with his career best finish in the Busch Series. That was at Richmond. That was a 2nd place. After he won the Winston Cup race at Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte, he finished 3rd the next week at Memphis. So how does his Winston Cup ride help his Busch ride today? Well, he had 2 practice sessions this morning on this track in his Winston Cup car, and his team tells me that he figured out a new line here, and he's very confident starting 8th in the number 27 car. Marty?
Dave, I tell you, one of the great things about qualifying rainouts is that you inevitably have fast cars in the back, like Michael Waltrip, who we just heard from, and Joe Nemechek, the defending winner of this race, who will start 34th today. I talked to his crew chief, Brian Patty, this morning. He said the car is awesome. If we just have the time to come up to the front, we will be up the front by the end of the day. If he does win this race, he will set a new record, the lowest anyone has ever started and won here in a Busch Series race in Atlanta, 23rd. Harry Gant did that back in 1994. Alan?
Get set to go green. And let's check some storylines we'll follow throughout the Aaron's 312. Speed and experience.
As we talked about, 15 drivers racing in the first Atlanta race. And folks, it's different driving into a corner at 170 miles per hour than 200 miles per hour. A lot different.
Now, let me see if I can get this straight. Whether the weather will wait or weather will wait on the weather. Very good.
Never.
That?
Oh, yes. Because there is clouds, there is rain nearby, as there has been, seems like, for the last 2 months.
Keller took a chunk of points off of Greg Biffle in last Sunday's race at Memphis. Can he do it again today? Pretty much needs to. 105-point difference and 4 races to go.
Grooving in Atlanta. I think we'll see that high groove today during the race.
I think we'll, too, because even as cool as it is, some of those cars will not be handling well enough to hang on the bottom.
Yet, because of the rain and things, there's not a lot of rubber in the upper groove. Somebody's got to go put it up there at some point. How about Michael Waltrip? He'll be one to move up there pretty fast.
What did that say? We did the math?
Yeah, that's a play on the Aaron's commercial with Michael and Darrell. A lot of onboard views for you today and a lot of miles. 312.62 miles to be specific. 203 laps around the 1.54-mile Atlanta Motor Speedway. 43 drivers chasing one victory. And the championship contenders are on the front row. It's Greg Biffle bringing the field down for the start. And we're ready to go at Atlanta. Greg Biffle leads. Jeff Green has jumped to second. Scott to third. Jason Keller shuffled in that outside row back to fourth.
That is a good shot right there. That is a great shot. They show you just how fast these cars are at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
That is not an exaggeration.
TV lingo, we call that a speed shot.
It is a speed shot.
Back in traffic, Randy LaJoie, Jamie McMurray, 7 and 27. This is for 9th and 10th. And Hamilton Jr. just behind them in the 25 car. He was pretty fast in that brief practice that they had yesterday. Hamilton Jr. On board Jamie McMurray. Going to run up across the 10 car. Scott Riggs just in front of them. He just had a big, big whoops up in turn 2. Almost caught the wall coming off that corner. Riggs in 7th place in that 10 car. And that's Kenny Wallace in the Stacker 2 machine working the bottom of the speedway. We have black number 48. Challenge for the lead.
Jeff Green, the 21 car, is closed in on Biffle, goes by and takes the lead. And looks like that the 23 car of Wimmer is going to follow.
8th NASCAR Busch Series race in Atlanta for Jeff Green. First lap he's ever led. That one.
I think Biffle's going to be very careful today.
One blowing up. Stanton Barrett.
And NASCAR quickly throws the caution flag to make sure no cars.
No, don't hit that wall, Damon.
What's the matter? Your car looks like it's going to hit the wall?
My car was going to hit the wall.
All right, let's explain this. This is the Tommy Baldwin Racing Dodge that Wally drove at Charlotte a couple of weeks ago.
He's got a flat left front now, but
that's Kennewick, Washington driver Damon Lusk, a young man that Tommy's looking to develop. And what about that sponsor on the hood?
He stole my sponsor. I'm not real happy about that.
Well, he had to do something to pay the fine.
That's not true. Cowtails is on. They wanted to be on this race for Atlanta, and we're going to do some pretty cool things with that next year. They're going to be involved with me doing some things next year. So, but I don't know what happened there, but he was headed for the wall, and I'm supposed to drive this car in Phoenix in 2 weeks. So, Damon.
This very car?
That very car.
Oh, I see why you're so concerned.
Tough break for Stanton Barrett. Apparent engine failure. First caution of the day is out early. The Aaron's 312. Atlanta tomorrow, the Napa 500 for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Fight for the championship continues at noon Eastern on NBC. Then it's on to Rockingham on TNT. Phoenix and Homestead on NBC. 4 races left to decide who'll be the NASCAR Winston Cup champion. While he's breathing a sigh of relief.
Yes, I'm keeping an eye on this boy.
All right, now, we don't normally keep an eye on the very last few rows in the field. And because of the qualifying being rained out, they started last.
Yeah. He looked like he got pushed down there a little bit, so did a good job hanging on to it, not hitting anything.
Well, call and ask him.
They're coming to the green flag here.
Yeah, he's going to get busy here real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to yell at him. Be careful. Darn it.
All right, coming to the green flag. Jeff Green's the leader. Scott Wimmer is second. Greg Biffle third. Jason Keller fourth. And Jack Sprague rounds out your top 5.
You ready? Green flag. Green flag. Okay.
Wow. Quick jump 3 wide to the inside there. Who's that on the move? Stacy Compton in the 59.
Well, the 26 car of Ron Hornaday tried to get it jumped, and the car in front of him bogged him down, so Stacy Compton just dove to the inside. There's a 19 car. Tim Sauter, that I think, was in front of Hornaday.
By the way, let's mention that because these cars got relatively little practice, there's going to be a caution flag put out by NASCAR at lap 25. Allow everybody to come in, take a look at the tires, change them if they like, and just get a feel for where their cars are on this green racetrack in the early going. You like those kind of things? The 25-lap cautions when you don't get a lot of practice?
I think that's a good move. I mean, you know, especially with as many people here has not run this racetrack in a Busch car. I think that's a good move to get everybody calm down a little bit.
Hey, Dave, must be disappointed to be the first car out, finished 43rd, huh?
Well, BP, Stanton Barrett is standing by because he thinks he can get back in. Stanton, I understood you had some oil pressure when you brought it in?
Yeah, I don't know what happened in the Bojangles a little bit on Ford. I guess just out there, all of a sudden it started smoking. I had good temperatures on my gauges and good oil pressure. And so I think a line must have broken or something. I'm not sure. They haven't updated me, but hopefully we can get back out there. Just unfortunate for us here.
Okay, the crew's going to go back to work moving us out of the way here. They've got the line repaired, and they're going to send Stanton back out.
Wow. Stuntman Stan. And that is what he does for a living, by the way, besides this racing thing. Pretty much single file. That's the way they lined up for the restart, so everybody's settled out for a couple of laps here. And there's somebody trying that high line.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. is going up there to see if he can get his car to get around this racetrack a little bit faster.
Hamilton Jr. is in 10th place now.
It's a traffic jam.
47 car Shane Neal had to go to the back of the pack on the pace laps. They had an engine failure in that practice yesterday. And the rule is if you change engines during the weekend, you start at the back.
He was scheduled to start 20th, so had to back up about 20 spots.
And he's picked his way up to 30th now. By the way, Stan Barrett has just come back onto the racetrack. So obviously it was not an engine failure. There's Jimmy Spencer, Hank Parker Jr. in that neon numeraled car.
David Green in the 5.
Oh, trouble! Hank Parker Jr. and Brian Vickers.
I tell you what, Vickers in that 40 car was, he did a great job. When he got it sideways, he nailed the gas to keep it from backing up the hill, and I don't think he's hit anything.
I think you're right. He did a good job there. And one of those places, Benny, you got to be careful running side by side in the corners here because of the high speeds. The car on the bottom will get loose, and I'm not sure that's not what happened to Hank there. You lose the air off your spoiler when you're the low car on the racetrack.
Straight to the garage area.
And it gets sideways.
Straight to the garage area.
And there's the Vickers machine driving back around as well. Just turned 19 years old.
And I'll tell you, that car sure looks a lot better than I thought it was going to look when I first saw it. Just a little caved-in left door.
There's Hank right in the middle of the screen.
He just got loose.
Boy, you know what, though? When Brian ran in there on the outside of him, it almost looked like they brushed when he ran in there, like Hank wasn't expecting that 40 car to come up on his outside.
I think they just took the air off the spoiler. I think he got to that spot right there and just took the air off the spoiler on 36 car, which caused him to get loose and go up into the 40 car.
Yeah, I still think that's what happened too, Benny.
Well, we have yet another shot.
I mean, it was close, but that's where you can take the spoiler off a guy.
See, right there's where they make the contact.
And he was real close here at one point. If you saw they were probably a foot apart at one time, and that is where the air comes off the spoiler.
So already under the second caution of the Aaron's 312, and we're just 15 laps into the race. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The drama of NBA opening night is on TNT. It's Allen Iverson and the Sixers battling Tracy McGrady and the Magic in Game 1. Tim Duncan and the Spurs take on the world champion Lakers in the nightcap. Starts at 7 o'clock Eastern as the NBA tips off Tuesday night on TNT.
And we just threw the green flag to tip off the restart of the Aaron's 312.
How about that, BP, with the basketball language? Did you basketball when you were a kid?
Yeah, right. No. A little football.
That I believe. None of the leaders pitted under that last caution. Some of the cars near the back of the field did. Mike Wallace, Johnny Sauter was in, Mark Green, Brian Vickers came in.
Yeah, so those guys will stay out, I believe, when the yellow comes out on lap, what'd you say, 24?
25.
25?
That's a good plan.
Yeah, it is, because that'll
Great
move
plan.
to the front of the field.
Mikey Waltrip is marching. Started 32nd, was up to 17th under the caution flag, just took 15th away from Tim Sauter in the 19.
So he is doing his sponsor Aaron's proud.
There's the scoring serial on Mikey Waltrip. Next up ahead for Michael will be Tim Fido on the 92. That'll be for 14th place. NASCAR checking around the speedway with their spotters. Some reports of some raindrops.
Well, there's a drop or two. Not many on Michael's camera lens.
And like we talked in happy hour.
Oh, look at him come off the corner.
Michael's car is working really nice right there.
He's run up on the back of Tim Fido in that 92 car. So quickly, had to jump off the throttle.
It shows the car's got a good body on it. It's got a good handling, very good.
One of the things that Michael is really happy about with his Busch Series team operation this year, Bobby Kennedy, the crew chief on this 99 car, and Slugger Labby, the crew chief on his Winston Cup car, really communicate well together. The two of them really talk a lot back and forth and share notes and try and make it all work together to both their benefits.
And that's the way it should be, because he's doing this, number one, to start himself his own team, but number two, to learn something for Sunday. Jimmy Spencer, we see the one car behind these guys has moved up the racetrack a little bit. Spencer is in the 15th position, started 29th.
And Michael's staying down the bottom of the racetrack. He's usually one of the guys that's the first to the top of the racetrack, Lenny, but he keeps them left side tires on a white line through the corners right now.
Yeah, he wins that race almost every track we go to. If the groove is going to move high, he's the first one up there. But look at those guys. We see Kevin LePage, Ryan LaJoy, both those guys higher on the track through the corners than Michael Waltrip.
Michael after Randy for 11th place here. While you watch this, a moment ago, while Hank Parker Jr. was taking his car off the track into the garage, here's what he told the crew about what happened in that incident with Brian Vickers.
Exactly that. The car wiggled and got up in the groove into the car.
Yep. And they're working on it. Matty?
Well, guys, Jeff Green just told his crew chief Butch Helton that the rain is getting heavier, especially off turn 2. He's fighting a free race car as it is, Wally, and a lot more rain could make that race car even freer.
Yeah, they're all going to get real free here in a minute if the kit starts getting a little bit more wet.
And like we talked about in final practice, this track is so fast, it's not one you want to mess around.
You really don't. I mean, it's tough to have a free race car here at Atlanta. I mean, you want it to be, I think, a little bit tight, because a free race car here is terrifying getting in the corners. You're carrying so much speed getting down in these corners.
200 miles per hour, pretty close, somewhere between 190 and 200 miles per hour. Going down the corner about right there, and the car feels like it's going to spin out. And Michael's up where we thought he would be, to that high groove. Now he's going to drop down to the inside. Wow, good move.
Nice little crossover there, huh? Caution is out. Rain. Caution for rain.
Oh, I can't believe it's raining during the race. That's so unusual.
All right, wait a minute now. This is not the caution for rain. This is the lap 25 caution. My apologies.
Come on, Alan.
Well, I'm
gee whiz, just concerned walling out of no end.
By way of explanation, please. I do monitor NASCAR's radio channel that they communicate to all the inspectors with, and it's been nonstop for about the last 10 laps, checking with the spotters at all the corners of the racetrack about the raindrops.
So what you're saying is you cannot chew gum and walk at the same time.
Yeah. I can't talk with you and listen to them at the same time. Anybody else in the world, I'm okay, but not you.
Okay, let's see.
Now, all right, let's see who comes in, BP.
Well, most of these guys got to come in and get checked out and make those adjustments and all that stuff, because there is some rain there, though.
Well, a little more rain on the helicopter.
Fine, thank you. Now you give me credit for that.
Oh, no, I won't give you any credit. I can see it, and I believe it. If I see it, I believe it. If Allen says it, I question it.
Pit road is not open.
Yeah, pace car didn't get the field first time by. The pace car opens pit road.
And we see the pace car is not in front of Jeff Green. There's nothing but space there.
NASCAR.com, the official source for the latest in NASCAR, including
naming the bus.
Naming the bus. We did that on NASCAR.com, and I'm sure we'll come up with another project with them shortly.
Benny, it looks like there may be some rain on the racetrack right now.
I wonder oh, my goodness. Look at this on...
I can see it on the lens.
Yes, I can, too.
Of course, we'll wait for an official report on this.
Are you,
Alan's not
are you
talk
done?
anymore.
Are you done? I can take this kind of abuse elsewhere. Tomorrow, NASCAR in-car on in-demand, 5 in-car camera channels, virtual dashboards, real-time in-car data, live team audio, that and more at 1-888 Sports In, only on digital cable.
You know, this is unbelievable, because this is the kind of weather we've seen here in November.
Yeah.
And Ed Clark and all the folks at the Speedway said, let's move the race forward to October. It's the driest month of the year. So now, pit road is open, and here they all come.
Driest month of the year, except this weekend.
Except this weekend.
In 2002. Let's cover some pit stops, Dave.
Last week's winner, Scott Wimmer, is coming in. His car was a little bit loose. He asked the crew to take air pressure out of each front tire that they put on, and also give him a track bar adjustment. They will go down on that track bar. Matt?
Dave, Jeff Green was free all the way around, so crew chief Butch Hilton will fix the race car with air pressure. Half a pound out of the right front, half a pound in the right front, half a pound out of the right rear. To Marty.
Greg Biffle running third right now, Matt. The car started loose. It got tighter the longer he ran. They added rubber to the right rear. They also put a pound of air pressure in the right rear. He will lose some spots on pit road to a host of cars.
Was that Mikey that came out in second spot?
Yeah, and it was Tony Raines that came first off pit road.
Wow.
So I want to check and see if he got 4 tires or maybe just 2.
There's Tony Raines. And Michael. Jeff Green. And then Biffle. So he goes back to 4th. And Randy LaJoie.
Okay. Randy is back out on track along with all the other drivers. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Oh, no.
That was a big wreck.
He goes through a lot for 70 grand.
All right, had some guys make some strategy plays on this round of pit stops. Matt, how about it?
Well, Alan, when you look at the championship chase, Jason Keller's team isn't taking any chances. In fact, they've gone to their corporate teammates, the Yates Racing team, to borrow Dale Jarrett's Winston Cup pit crew. They feel like their pit stops have been one of their biggest hindrances, standing between themselves and a Busch Series championship. So for the final 4 races, the UPS guys will pit Jason Keller's Ford. To Dave.
Matt, the 99 car of Michael Waltrip came in. They changed 2 right side tires and made an air pressure adjustment. So I asked crew chief Bobby Kennedy what was wrong with the car. And Bobby said, nothing. We're just trying to screw it up. No, really, what we're doing is that we're trying to see if taking a little air pressure out of the right side tires now helps keeping the car from getting too loose later on. It's an experiment. If it doesn't work, they'll go back to what they had. Marty?
They have no real strategy on Greg Biffle's stop this last time. They decided to go with 4 tires. The one thing they did do, however, the car extremely tight. They took the time to put a rubber in the right rear. That's, a big change. It also takes time. They did lose 1 spot on pit road, but they will see if it makes the car better. Greg said the car was just too tight to drive into the corners and just slide the nose all over the place.
AC Delco presenting an update on the NASCAR Busch Series Championship standings. Greg Biffle running 6th now. Jason Keller 11th. 105 the gap between the two to start the race. And we are coming to the green. Brian Vickers is the leader. First laps he's ever led in a NASCAR Busch Series race. Did not stop under this caution. Johnny Sauter is second. Did not stop under this caution. Then Tony Raines, Michael Waltrip, Jeff Green, and Greg Biffle.
I'll tell you, Michael Vickers in this 40 car was very fast. And we see the 2 cars saw to go up the hill. Tony Raines dove to the inside, and the caution flag is out.
Caution for rain. And this time I waited until I heard them say it was for rain.
Oh, I could see it on the camera, so I didn't have to wait for you.
Okay, guys, just easy now. It's raining. Calm down.
And we're not past halfway, so.
How far is halfway?
What's that?
How far is halfway?
101.5 laps.
You know, Brian Vickers, I was talking, he was good in practice the other day. This 40 car was fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched him some. He had some good laps.
Yes, he did, so.
And survived the spin there. Remember he tangled with Hank Parker Jr. there back at lap 15.
Dave, what do you think about the 40? Got a chance?
Well, I checked in their pits just after that, BP, after the spin, and of course they had flat spotted one of the tires, which made it go completely flat. They came in and changed 4, but Brian said the car was still tracking fine, it was handling fine, and they wanted me to remind everyone that this car's been good all weekend. It looks like it.
Well, they're doing the same dance, checking with the spotters around the racetrack, trying to see if it's stopped enough so we can put them back under green. We'll come back to Atlanta in a minute. NASCAR on TNT live at the Atlanta Motor Speedway with our Stacker 2 race fact. Johnny Benson, only driver to win the Atlanta race and the Busch Series Championship in the same year.
And that was for the team that Tony Raines is driving for now, correct?
Yes, sir. Base Motorsports. A little discussion over the gentleman's agreement on the racetrack.
You know, but this is just not smart of these guys to use race cars to try to figure it out. Let the pit crews try to figure it out, because as we talked about on the, Allen said on the break, fenders are your friends at these racetracks. Downforce really makes the car handle better. When you go out and start banging around, you're not doing yourself a favor.
And Shane Meal in the 47 and Kevin LePage in the 37. Got a lot of things here at Atlanta. Those are condos.
Condominiums. Yes.
Massive facility, completely renovated in 1997. What is the front stretch now used to be the back stretch. And a great place to come to see a NASCAR race. Dave, what do you got?
Well, Alan, when we went back to green briefly, Jimmy Spencer radioed in that he had a terrible vibration in the car, came back down pit road. The crew repitted the car, changed all 4 tires, but noticed on the left rear that one lug nut was missing. So it either it was probably put on and didn't get on at all, and then fell off as he went back around the track, and they had to repit the car because that was not a safe situation.
No, and that left rear tire is loose. It wobbles and therefore vibrates.
Not too good. Good one tonight on TBS. Big play Saturday. Nebraska, Texas A&M from College Station, home of the 12th man. 7 o'clock Eastern tonight on TBS.
You just go down there for the Texas World Speedway. All right, speaking of speedways, we're going to have some racing on this one right now.
We'll try it again. Brian Vickers leads the field down to the green. Michael Waltrip, the big jump to the outside of Tony Raines on the restart, and to Vickers.
He got himself a start, didn't he?
Well, that's experience to the unexperienced right there.
Look at Vickers coming back on the inside in that 40 car.
Think of that Dale Earnhardt Incorporated horsepower at the top end of the backstretch. Michael Waltrip leading by a nose on that lap. And Jeff Green underneath Raines for third.
Meanwhile, we've got a, what do you call it, a gaggle of cars trying to determine position down the backstretch, 2, 3 wide.
Whoa.
Oh.
Johnny Sauter backed up there in the 2.
I think Johnny not taking those tires is feeling the effect right now.
Josh Richardson, the 11, one of the drivers, 15 in this race, who never run a NASCAR Busch Series event here before.
He is going straight to the back.
Second place, Jeff Green working on Michael Waltrip. Couple of Owensboro, Kentucky, longtime friends. Okay, so they said they let some air pressure out of the right sides they put on Michael's car. And he's probably going to radio back in and say, next time,
let's don't do that. Yeah, that was not a good move, guys. But again, they need to run them a few laps because, after all, he has used left sides and new rights. The 40 car didn't stop. At least all of his 4 tires are the same.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a few more laps for Michael to determine whether that was the right move or not.
Greg Biffle to the outside of Michael Waltrip. This would be for 3rd place.
Because your pressures are going to be built up in your left sides, and if you put new right sides on, your air pressure is going to be down to begin with. So it's going to take a while for that to balance out.
Farther back, Mike McLaughlin, 18. Inside of Randy LaJoie in the 7th. 9th place there. Joe Nemechek in the 87 coming along. We talked about him on the pace laps. He started back in 34th place.
And here comes Jeff Green, the 21 car, trying to take the lead from Brian Vickers. And the 19-year-old wisely backs up.
Now, Jeff was the first car that took forward, wasn't he?
Yes.
On that deal, so he's got it.
Dave, what's Brian Vickers saying about his car now?
Well, he just radioed in, guys, that the car's getting a little bit tied off. But on his behalf this weekend is a new spotter for him, Tim Overby, who normally spots for Kevin Harvick in the Winston Cup Series, is the voice from up above. So he's been a big help to Brian this weekend in getting him up to speed here at Atlanta.
And here we see maybe Michael's tires coming around right now. Car looks like it's bottoming out there, getting in line.
And the spark that you saw was, as Wally said, ooh, close off the 2nd corner.
And Biffle going to make it 3 wide, the big charge. Michael Waltrip with the block. Here comes Scott Wimmer. 2nd block car there in the frame. Last weekend's winner at Memphis for Bill Davis. So Mikey finally got by Vickers.
The yellow car behind, Scott Riggs. There he is.
Scott started in 9th. He's running 6th now. As Bill makes the pass on Vickers, that'll be for 3rd. And here comes Biffle and Riggs. One up high, one down low. That's one of the great things about this racetrack. You can run all over it.
Yeah, it used to not be that way. You know, when it was freshly paved, this place, you had to be on the bottom, and you didn't dare get off the bottom groove. But now that it's weathered a little bit, it's turning into a really good racetrack.
And that's what everyone's hoping that's going to happen to Kansas and Chicagoland and all these racetracks that are recently built. As soon as they get some weather on it, they'll be all over the racetrack like these guys are here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Scott Riggs by Vickers for 5th place. Now Jack Sprague on the hunt, 24 car. And here comes Nemechek also. Been talking about once this race gets closer to halfway, where fuel is concerned and different things, how that might play out. Some of the teams are thinking about it already. This is what Greg Biffle had to say moments ago. Check that. This is a pre-race strategy thought from Greg Biffle.
definitely fuel mileage is a big concern of ours, and pit strategy, you know, and then of course weather. You know, it could rain past halfway and trap a guy that just made a pit stop, or work into a guy's favor that didn't stop on a particular caution, and not knowing that's coming. Kind of get blindsided by that by 10 spots or better, and that could take a chunk out of your points.
That's brutal. I mean, trying to win a championship and get in a situation where weather can come in and ruin everything is just...
You know what, BP? Them skies are looking pretty good. They're the best they've been all day.
It does look good right now. And we see no rain. The best part, we see no rain on the windshield of the Granger car. Battle for the lead. Mikey, he's got those 4 tires matched up now. Air pressure matched up, and here he goes.
How about that?
Yeah, like I said, it takes a while for those things to balance out. So you have to hang on to it a little bit for the first 10 or 15 laps, but if they come around like they do now, it's a smart move.
So the sponsor's car is out in front of the sponsor's race. It's the Aaron's 312 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. NASCAR on TNT. He's got the 99 car in runaway mode right now in the Aaron's 312 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Jack Sprague, on the other hand, he's got some problems. Marty?
Yeah, what a disappointment for this team. Allen, of course, they are 4th in the point standings, and this will be a big dent to their championship hope, certainly. And the engine has gone bad on Jack Sprague's car. You see other cars going around him on the racetrack. And I don't know what it is about this race car. They had it at Charlotte. It ran very well. He takes it behind the wall right now. Ran very well at Charlotte. They lost an engine there, too. Same case again today.
And that was Mike Harmon's car with the hood up that was also behind the wall. You saw Jack Sprague coasting by. Also, Josh Richardson has taken his car to the garage and has problems. No problems here.
No problems at all. You saw Michael Waltrip just go by Mark Green, the 38 car, put him a lap down.
It's the 33rd place driver. Also gone a lap down, Joe Buford, Ron Young, Larry Gunselman, Dwayne Like, Chad Chaffin, all overtaken by race leader Michael Waltrip. Let's take you through the field, starting with Dave Burns.
Remember, the leader, Michael Waltrip, made a pit stop and only changed 2 right side tires, took air pressure out of that. Just check with Bobby Kennedy. That's definitely the way to go. It's made him faster. Matt?
Dave, Jeff Green took on 4 tires on that, stopped him in an air pressure adjustment in both outside tires. He says the car is still free. He wants to leave the chassis alone at his next stop, try to adjust again with air pressure. The car's still real loose off 2. He almost spun out. He said at lap 48, Dave.
The 23 car of Scott Wimmer, they took on 4 tires, made that track bar and air pressure adjustment, and the best news is that Scott hasn't said a thing since he's been back up to speed. The changes they made are working fine on the 23. Marty?
Well, Dave, there's another Scott in the 4th position, and that is Scott Riggs. He is storming through the field. He started 9th, and he just got passed by Joe Nemechek, however. But the car is very good, a little bit loose on the racetrack. It comes to him the longer he runs, but obviously Nemechek is a little bit better, Dave.
Marty, he made no changes on that car when they brought it in. They did change 4 tires, no adjustments to the chassis. He radioed in a couple of laps ago that it's just a little bit tied off. But like Wally's talked about, that's a fairly good position to be in here at Atlanta. Marty, back to you.
Greg Biffle is in the 6th position behind all those cars that have gone around him. Car's a little bit tight, and they have been working on that. Remember, they put the spring rubber in the right rear a little bit earlier. He's trying that middle lane, not quite the high lane, not quite the low lane. They need to gain some points today. Finished 34th last week at Memphis and lost 63. Matt?
Marty, the 57 of Jason Keller, he can barely see the bumper of point leader Greg Biffle trying to reel him in, running in the 7th position. Earlier in the race, he was free on entry, tight in the center, up off the corner. They made a chassis adjustment. Not a lot of conversation since. Caution.
Trouble, turn number 2. Kerry Earnhardt.
It's a bad spot to be sitting. Luckily, they quickly get the caution flag. I got to warn other drivers that there is trouble on the racetrack, and they slow down.
And they've got some cutting to do on the back end of that car.
Yes, they do. I don't know where they're going to put anything, how they're going to put fuel in the car, because right back there, somewhere where it said on the supercuts, under the S is the fuel filler neck.
Tough luck there for Kerry. Got his 2nd top 5 finish in 3 weeks last Sunday at Memphis.
They took a little bit too much off the back there of the supercuts car, Stampede.
keep taking too much off the top when I go into the barbershop, but nevertheless.
What do they do with that all? What do they do with all that they take off the top?
It's on eBay.
Let's see if we can see what happened to Kerry Earnhardt. Nobody around. See those bumper bars sliding down the racetrack. That means he hit pretty hard.
Okay, anybody going to pit here?
Oh,
let's see. Last stopped at lap 28. We are at 62 now. It'll be 63 when they come back. If the race runs full distance, only allowed to change 3 sets of tires under caution.
So I doubt it, because they might be able to run to halfway without stopping.
I think a lot more people are going to come in than you think.
Okay, let's see. Some guys, if there should be rain about halfway. Matt, what do you think?
Well, Benny, right now, Butch Hilton just told his driver, Jeff Green, that they feel like the 2 cars they were racing the most today will be the 99 and the 23. So whatever Michael Waltrip does, that's what Jeff Green will do, too. They feel like this is not their window, but if the 99 pits, they're coming.
All right, looks like he's going to bring the entire field, all the cars on the lead lap down pit road. Burns coming to you.
And BP, they made their adjustments 1 stop ago, so this time they're leaving everything the way they've adjusted it. 4 tire change, fill it full of fuel, and send it back out there. Michael, a little bit loose on new tires, but the car comes around to it. Matt?
Jeff Green, a little free still. They made a track bar adjustment, a fuel-only stop for Jeff Green. To Marty.
Greg Biffle at the far end of pit road. Matt, the car, he said, is just fine. He said, I found the middle to high groove. I really like it there. They will take 4 tires on the stop, a little long on the right front right there. So they're going to leave the chassis just like it is. Problem with these guys pitting is that they only have, this is the 1 set of tires left. This is their 2nd set of tires for the day. Matt?
Marty, Jeff Green's team did not get all the fuel in they needed. So they may be a little off fuel sequence-wise. They're going to start crunching the numbers and see how much fuel was actually left in the can, but they did not get all the fuel in that they needed.
21 car with fuel only. Just behind him on the track is Scott Wimmer. He also took fuel only. And Jimmy Spencer is off pit road 3rd. And we'll double check. And apparently it's going to be a moot point on Spencer anyway. He's getting a black flag. Pitting outside the box or fueling the car outside the box. We'll follow up on that in a minute. Under caution in Atlanta on TNT. Under caution here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway after Kerry Earnhardt crashed over in turn number 2. They have finished cleaning up over there, and we should be getting set to go back racing shortly. Meanwhile,
we have a situation. That's Johnny Allen, the crew chief, talking to a NASCAR official. He's the crew chief for Jimmy Spencer. Dave, what's the discussion all about?
Well, they are trying to figure out if indeed Jimmy Spencer pitted outside of his pit box, came in, turned a little bit right, and was over the white line. That is a rules violation. They will penalize him for that. But follow me back here, if you can, for just a minute behind the pit box, because I'll show you how the crew is arguing their point. Johnny Allen is waiting to get a word from the officials, but the team comes back behind here, and they will watch the tape. And the difficult thing about seeing the tape is that the angle of the camera is from behind the shot, and when the car is stopped, then it's really just hard to see if the car is actually over the line or not. So NASCAR's trying to look at that, and then he goes.
That's over the line.
See, he had the fuel tank.
But it looks like he'd already pitted, guys, hadn't he?
But Dave, watch this. Watch this.
But if the fuel is still hooked up to the car and the car is over the white line,
he is still servicing the car.
He's still servicing the car.
That's right.
All right, watch this. See, the gas can is still there.
Right there. The
See,
can
it's
is
still
in the
there,
car.
and the car's over the line, Dave.
Yep, looks like it to me.
In the meantime, apparently they've successfully appealed down on pit road, and they have removed the black flag on the 1 car.
Well, good for them.
So there you go.
Johnny, way to go. Way to go. There's James Finch, the owner. Maybe he has a hand in all that discussion.
All right.
I'd like to know how they did that. I'm going to go down and visit those guys after this race.
Exactly. You
find
need to
out
know
how they did that.
You need to know, because Dave?
Well, let's just talk to Johnny Allen. Johnny, how did you successfully argue your case there to the officials?
I mean, we was in the box when we pitted the car. I mean, for years, the gas guys have walked with the cars leaving the pit box. And, I mean, the gas guy was following him out of the pit box as the car was rolling. And he said we was out of the box when we pitted the car. We felt like we was. We stated our case. They ruled in our favor. That's all I can say.
Isn't that what lawyers usually do? Don't they go back to the history, the case of Spencer versus NASCAR on pit road at Atlanta in November of October?
I don't know. Just Dave, tell
like
Johnny Allen next time we have to get in front of an appeals commission. I want him on my side.
Wally thinks you did a pretty good job of the appeal, and he might want you to help him appeal next time he gets a little fine from NASCAR.
All right, there ain't a problem, Wally. We'll take care of it.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate everything TNT's doing for us. The Yellow Freight Chevrolet's running good. We'll be good to go here, Lee.
All right, there we go. Johnny Allen, crew chief for Jimmy Spencer and legal analyst.
And third place car right now.
And that was, I mean, the car, the guy did walk with the car, putting fuel in the car. It was really stretching the blacklegging, but it was breaking the rules. I see no harm, no foul. What do you think?
I think I'd just like to know how they did that. I'm just floored.
Green flag, green flag.
29 cars on the lead lap. Jeff Green is the leader. Scott Wimmer is second. Jimmy Spencer third. Those three getting fuel only on this pit stop. Michael Waltrip in the 99 car, the previous leader, is now in fourth. Joe Nemechek fifth and Jason Keller sixth. Greg Biffle is back in eighth place.
And here goes Scott Wimmer, the 23 car, for the lead. He drives down to the inside. He gets the 21 car up the hill.
Boy, Jeff drove it down there hard.
Who's going to lead this lap? It's going to be, looks like Green.
Here comes Jimmy Spencer. Michael Waltrip.
Oh, three wide.
Come on now, Jimmy. Don't do that, Jimmy. Jimmy.
Too late.
Too late.
New leader, Scott Wimmer.
This is going to be good right here. Yeah, Michael.
Oh,
Jimmy got a little loose.
It's a little loose as he tries to get down in the corner three wide. He thought he was three wide anyway.
Michael Waltrip for second on Jeff Green.
Hey, Matt, how's the 21 car working now?
Well, Benny, the hearts are pumping again down in the 21 pit. They've recalculated the fuel mileage, weighing the gas to find out how much they actually did not get in the car. Less than 1 gallon from being full, so they are going to be just fine. What happened? Butch Hilton said ready, meaning ready to go. Jeff Green thought that meant you are ready to go. So he took off, and that's why they didn't get all the fuel in.
In other words, he was supposed to say ready, set, go. And Jeff Green went on ready.
10-4, Benny. So now the terminology next time will be go.
Gotcha. Keep it simple. Wimmer leads. Waltrip second. Nemechek third. Jeff Green kicked back to fourth. And here comes Nemechek on Michael Waltrip for second.
Michael should have just changed 2 tires again. Those 4 tires not working as good.
Biffle and Spencer. 7th and 8th place. With company.
Yeah, with Biffle's around a lot of company. Like I said earlier, I really think he wants to play it safe today. So I think he would like to be single file right now instead of side-by-side with 2 cars side-by-side front, 2 behind.
New leader.
Joe Nemechek, the 87 car, goes to the front, followed by Michael Waltrip. And Scott Wimmer, this young man, what great lessons he's learning today from 2 great race car drivers. Nemechek, Waltrip, Spencer.
Look at Mikey run that high line. You have to talk yourself up to that. I mean, it would seem like a natural thing to want to go to the bottom of the racetrack every time. You have to talk yourself up the bank like that.
Not really.
That is the most fun you can have driving a race car.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful.
If your car's handling well, it is. It's fun to be up there.
And Jason Keller on the move. 57 car. Right side tires only on his pit stop. 3rd place. Talked to Steve Addington, his crew chief, this morning. He said, basically, we're going to have to go for it. 105 points back, 4 races. We're going to have to take some chances. Matt, they took some chances there with just 2 tires on that stop, huh?
2 tires, no adjustments, Allen. The car was free on entry. Tight, though, from the center off. But if you watch Michael Waltrip running the high line, Jason Keller's hugging the bottom, a bottom dweller. He says his car just does not feel comfortable up high. I have to run the bottom.
Check down the bottom, Waltrip up top.
That's what's so great about these racetracks like Atlanta Motor Speedway, where the surface is worn just enough that you can run almost the same speed anywhere, top, bottom, middle. You know, we saw Greg Biffle just a few moments ago. There he is, still in the middle of the racetrack, making pretty good speed, isn't he, Marty?
He's doing a pretty good job, and I hate to say it, but Wally's actually right. Greg's being a little conservative right now. He said the car is pretty good. He likes that middle lane, but he's not using all of the car he can right now. I think he's playing it safe, and probably a good idea when you're the championship leader. Wouldn't you say, guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it.
All right, let's see. Nemechek got the lead. It's Michael's turn, Wally. Or is it?
One on the bottom, one up top.
He's got the momentum up there at the high line. I believe he'll do it.
So what we've seen the last couple of restarts from that 99 car is it takes him a few laps to get going.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. 2 tires, 4 tires, you're right, Alan. A few laps, 10 or 15 laps into a run, and he's pretty doggone good. Is that what they're thinking down there, Dave?
Well, remember, BP, when he puts on new tires on this car, it's a little bit loose at the start of the run, and then the car comes around a little bit more. Michael reported that in on his radio right before the last stop.
So third different time today, Michael Waltrip has been out in front of the Aaron's 312. Scott Riggs has taken third from Jason Keller. As you look back from the leader's bumper. Michael Waltrip, a winner at Michigan earlier this season in NASCAR Busch Series competition, looking to pick up another W in Atlanta today. Championship continues here in Atlanta. Tony Stewart on the pole to lead the field down for the green flag in the Napa 500 NBC noon Eastern.
You know, Wally, back in the 50s when they first started this, even at Darlington Raceway, the pit crews went across the wall and pitted the race cars on the racetrack, kind of like those guys do. That's a little dangerous, don't you think?
Yeah. I thought our pits were bad now.
Yeah. Oh, no, they used to do it on the racetrack.
Michael Waltrip well out in front. 2.06 seconds. This is advantage on Joe Nemechek. Scott Riggs is third. Tony Raines has moved up to fourth. And this is a race for the 8th and 9th spots between Jeff Green and Bobby Hemingway Jr.
And Scott Wimmer's not too far in front of the black car. The 23 car is Hamilton Jr. The 25 goes by.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. says this is his favorite racetrack. Now, if you look at his results, wouldn't necessarily back that up. His best finish was a 20th place back in 1998. But he says he ran a Winston Cup race here a couple of years ago in 2000. And he was getting lapped by Dale Earnhardt. And he fell in behind Dale Earnhardt and followed him around the racetrack. And he said in about 7 laps, I learned a whole new way around this racetrack that's worked for me ever since.
Earnhardt had a very unique way around the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I think he taught a lot of folks how to get around this speedway. Whoa! Oh, baby! You see Hamilton Jr. just drive around those cars. That was Chad Chaplin, the black and red car. 63 car is Ron Young, local boy.
And he got Wimmer, too.
Yep. So Hamilton Jr. to 7th, Wimmer to 8th, Jeff Green back to 9th. And Jeff was leading on that last restart, right?
Yeah, but
so the no tires is
the tire deal. I think he's
hey!
Oh,
there's Marty, Dave.
I wonder if they'll be hanging out on the bus later. Let's see. We got Spider-Man, Batman,
Superman.
I can't see the one that's right behind the post there.
Robin.
Is that the green? That's
no,
Robin.
that's Robin.
No, it's Robin. Okay.
Batman and Robin.
I don't know who the yellow one is. And Superman.
Wolverine.
Wolverine. I never heard of Wolverine.
New one on me. And you know something? They look like grown men too. That's the amazing part.
Hey, trick or treat. It's this coming week, right? Just getting an early start on it.
What are you going as?
Probably goes to TNT announcer.
Masquerading?
Yeah, masquerades the TNT announcer.
Most importantly, we are closing in on halfway. Which, by the way, for this race, since it's 203 laps, will be at 101 1/2 laps. The race will become official.
Can you get any more specific?
Well, actually, I can. At this 1.54-mile track, it would be 100 laps and 4,065 feet, 7 1/4 inches.
Thank you.
Okay, 4,000. That's more information we needed, I think. Mike Wallace, the 4-car. One a lap down.
Kevin LePage has taken his car to the garage. Engine failure. He'll be out for the day. Jack Sprague is done for the day. And Kerry Earnhardt has been treated and released from the infield care center after his crash. What? You had that smart aleck look about your face.
I was just going to say, we should have Bill Weber look that up so, they don't have to.
Yeah.
Just to back it up.
Yeah. Championship leaders. Well, that's Bobby Hamilton Jr. going by Jason Keller.
And Greg Biffle, I think during our commercial break, Biffle passed Keller. He's up to the 5th position, and that puts Keller back to 7th. Matt, what's Jason Keller and Steve Adams been talking about on the radio?
Well, Benny, the conversation is coming more from his spotter, Shannon McGlamory. They're telling Jason, they're explaining to him how the other cars in the racetrack are entering the corner high and then staying high through the corner. Jason, they felt like he would duck out a little too early, so he's trying to change his lane and his line to see if that will help him on the stopwatch. So far, it appears like it is.
Well, that time he ran just through the bottom of the racetrack like he's been doing.
Yeah, he may have tried it once and not felt comfortable with it. He's right, BP. He's right down back at the bottom again.
And you see the gap up to his championship rival, Greg Biffle, who's now running in 5th place while Keller is back in 7th. Talked with Greg Biffle earlier this weekend about racing Jason for the championship.
I hate Jason Keller as a competitor. He's such a good one. Now, Jason Keller is the best racer I've ever raced against. And, I mean, he's a great guy. Fair racer, and he's a honest guy to race with, and it's a lot of fun racing with him. I just hope that we can stay in front of him.
He's a great guy, but I want to beat him. That's terrible to say. And I'm sure that Jason Keller would say the same thing. What do you think, Marty?
Well, I think it's the same old story, guys. Whoever wins the championship is going to be the guy who has the least trouble. It happened to Greg Biffle last week at Memphis. Of his own doing, but if you take his last 18 races, he has some incredible finishing averages. Now it includes a 42nd at Michigan, a 17th at Dover, and the 34th last week. But in the last 18 races, his average finish is 7.7 for Greg Biffle. That's unbelievable, especially with those 3 back finishes. And it's hard to beat that kind of consistency when you're trying to win a championship.
Talked a couple of times about Greg Biffle's troubles last Sunday at Memphis. Lap 203, trying to put a lap on the Lowell Bennett car in turn 1 on the Memphis short track. Curtains down, race over. He had led 103 of the 203 laps to that point.
And, when they interviewed Greg, he was fairly honest. He said, what happened? He said, I don't know. I don't know if I cut too soon or if the guy didn't cut soon enough that I was trying to pass Lowell Bennett. But Greg Biffle has a habit of really cutting those guys off really short going down in the corner.
And that one turned out to be pretty costly.
And that was costly because he had a dominant car last week. Yeah. Terrific car.
Cost him 63 points of his lead. The advantage was 105 coming in today. Running 2 positions ahead of Jason Keller now. And again, counting this race, 4 to go to settle the Busch Series championship. Biffle already set to move on to the NASCAR Winston Cup ranks next season, full-time for Jack Roush. So trying to win this Busch Series title before he goes, saying he won't have a chance to do it again.
Got a car slow. Jimmy Spencer, man, the last race he lost an engine. We thought that he had parked the car, and in fact the engine had gone sour. And here we go again.
Let's come in the fence and we'll gas her up, put tires on, and take a look at it.
It's been a tough year for finishing for them. 9 of the 20 races that they've run, they've not finished.
put tires on it because the throttle's stuck, like,
oh, throttle's stuck.
3/4 throttle or something.
Well, that's no good.
Oh, that's no good at all.
We look at them springs.
And so James Spencer's crew go to work on the Spencer car and see if they can figure it out. Now, there's an unscheduled pit stop, I would think, for Tony Raines.
He had a great run going. He's running up about 4th position. Dave?
He just said something's loose, so they brought it in. They put on 4 tires, and they've been having a great run. They made no changes on their previous pit stop and changed 4 tires. So disappointing to have to come in now.
He's about 20 laps shy of when everybody else has got to come in.
And I talked to a guy this morning that Outdoor Channel's going to be with him about 10 or 12 races next year.
Okay, where's the leader? Are we halfway? Yes. No. Yes. Another half a lap. Here he is, turn 4. Okay. Now, half a lap from now, we'll have an official race.
That says lap 102.
Well, they're working the 102nd lap. We've completed 101.
So right about...
Now, almost. Wait. There. This is an official race, even if it rains. Oh,
that's an ugly statistic.
Mikey's not going to like that number. Man, talk about dominating. Waltrip is out in front by 5.3 seconds on Joe Nemechek.
And started 32nd. And he's done all this in halfway.
Yeah. Waltrip leads just past halfway in the Aaron's 312 in Atlanta. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. 4 cars in the garage, now about to be joined by a 5th, Dave.
And it was a very fast race car, Alan. But, Jimmy, your day wasn't trouble-free. What finally put you out?
Well, you know, Dave, we got in trouble there early, and we argued the penalty good, and, you know, we got back to 3rd where we wanted to be. We didn't put no tires on. That was our strategy. We wanted to save 2 sets. We had 2 sets. The rest of them guys only got 1, and that would have worked in our favor. Then what happened was something broke in the throttle linkage, you know, down in the corner, lifted, put the throttle back to it, and it wouldn't go. It was like stuck, and then it opened halfway, and then it stuck wide open, and it was just shut it down, and I don't know, something broke in the old yellow Chevrolet, and it really hurt us today, but I really feel I could have contended with them. I really do. I mean, I know that we didn't have the same tires they had on, but I know how fast my car was on long runs. We had an extra set of tires from where they didn't, but oh well.
That was a good day for them strategy-wise and arguing-wise, legal-wise, but unfortunately a throttle linkage that just wouldn't behave, guys.
I can't think of a more uncomfortable feeling than the throttle sticking on a race car at any track.
But it sounded like he got in the corner and lifted, and then when he got back in the gas, it stuck, which would have been better than if he was getting in a corner and it was stayed stuck.
It wouldn't go all the way down.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuck, that 99 car,
he's stuck in first,
is stuck to this racetrack. Just past halfway, Napa Field summary. The 6 leaders today: Michael Waltrip, Jeff Green, Brian Vickers, Joe Nemechek, Greg Biffle, and Scott Wimmer. Those out of the race: Jimmy Spencer, Kevin LePage, Kerry Earnhardt, Jack Sprague, and Hank Parker Jr. 5 caution flags. One was for an oil line off Stanton Barrett's car at lap 6. Then Brian Vickers and Hank Parker Jr. spun, and Parker Jr. crashed at lap 15 at a competition caution because of a lack of practice. NASCAR let the teams check their tires at lap 26. Rain at lap 34, and Kerry Earnhardt's crash at lap number 62. And that is the way things have gone so far in the Aaron's 312. Now, expecting the leaders in around lap 125. So let's take a commercial break here, come back and get set for those green flag pit stops. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Atlanta Motor Speedway, he's out in front of second place Joe Nemechek by, brace yourself, 9.5 seconds. Scott Wimmer's on pit road. Scott had led one time for 3 laps earlier in the event at running the top 3 most of the first chunk of this race. It's a little bit early, isn't it? 8, 9 laps early.
4,000 first gear, 4,000, watch your speed.
It might have been early, Allen, but he might have been, all of a sudden the car was really bad and losing a lot of time to the leader. So stop early and hope that you can gain some time with a chassis adjustment and fresh tires.
Jeff Green had also been on pit road under the green flag during that that last commercial break, reported a vibration, so his team brought him in on the pit road early. Mikey likes to call this car the Dream Machine, playing off the Aaron's commercials. I'll tell you what, it is driving like a beautiful dream today. He's put all but 8 other cars a lap down, just 9 on the lead lap.
The amazing thing is that he started 32nd and has been able to do this. And they had a caution flag at lap, had 2 or 3 caution flags before lap 30.
Best come from behind win at Atlanta. Marty told us that earlier. Harry Gant started 23rd in 1994.
Uh-oh, we have a smoker. Dwayne Like, the 81 car.
Caution is out. Bad news for Jeff Green and Scott Wimmer.
Oh, man.
All right, let's see who Michael decides to bestow a lap back.
Bobby Kennedy said, if it's going to be a fuel mileage deal, don't give it too many back.
Mike Wallace.
And Ron Hornaday and the 40 car, Brian Vickers, did not, in fact, get their lap back.
And the lap Mike Wallace was getting back was one of a couple that he's down.
Yes.
So that wasn't really giving anything up if you're Michael Waltrip. So Scott Wimmer and Jeff Green are pinned way behind, 2 laps down, 23rd and 24th place. Ouch.
And now then, we're in a situation that some of these cars, well,
I don't know.
They can't make it. They can't make it on one more stop. They can't make it on this stop.
80 laps, they'd be asking a little much.
That's a bit much, but somebody just might try it.
Do that, you need to come in as they're waving the green, come down and top off.
Top off, because especially if you're in the lead lap, because right now only 9 cars.
Just 9 cars on the lead lap, the only ones allowed to pit this time. And you see Michael Waltrip with a huge gap on Joe Nemechek.
Took a long time for those 9 cars to catch up to Michael. Dave?
They gained track position early by taking on 2 right side tires, but removing some air pressure is an experiment. They're going to do the same thing now to control buildup on the right side. That's what made them so fast on this last run. They're going to change 4 tires this stop. Marty?
Scott Riggs says the car is pretty good like it is. Leave it alone. And then Harold Holly came on and said, I think you're a little tight there. He said it was a little bit. So what they're going to do is a very slight half-pound out of the right front tire. That should loosen them up just a little bit at the end of the run. It will be a 4-tire stop. They were running in 3rd for most of that run, and it looks like they're going to leave pit road in 3rd as well. Matt?
Jason Keller hit pit road in the 6th position. The car still too tight in the center. They made an air pressure adjustment and a wedge adjustment.
Marty, looks like those guys on the 60 car had a pretty good pit stop. Are you there?
They had a great stop, BP, and I am here, and it was a little bit tight for Greg Biffle. They added a pound to the right rear tire, and an awesome stop for the Granger team. They gained them some spots on pit road. That's how you win a championship.
Got him up to 3rd. Michael Waltrip first off the pit road, then Joe Nemechek, then Greg Biffle, thanks to that pit crew. It'll be Scott Riggs, and looks like Mike McLaughlin, the next 2 in line. 81 laps to go in the Aaron's 312. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Clean it up from the engine from Dwayne Like's car that brought out the caution at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Michael Waltrip retaining the lead after the pit stop. So while they're putting oil dry out around the track, let's take another break and come back for the restart.
Didn't he have a foot problem? Is he going to be able to play next?
Toe surgery. No, he's out for a little bit.
Oh.
But they've still got Kobe.
But
and lots of others.
Yeah. So the Spurs have a chance. The Spurs have a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
His fists work.
Wow.
Did you see the fight last night?
I didn't see it.
Oh, that was good.
Was it?
Yep.
Perfect.
He kind of was getting in the middle, breaking it up, but he shoved the one guy a good 12 feet.
So went to a basketball game and a hockey game broke out?
Who got in the fight? Shaquille?
Yeah.
Who in the world would be
Well, he didn't really get a bite. He was breaking it up.
That's a great thought. All right, Dave Burns, what do you got?
Well, Bobby Kennedy's the crew chief for Michael Waltrip. He's had calculators flying from other guys in his own hand. What do you think? That's a lot of laps to the end. Can you make it?
No, we can't make it, and I don't think we can back off enough to gain that many laps. And I think the 87, he might be able to do it, but, you know, that's an awful long way to go. But right now, you know, I certainly can't make it, and, you know, he might. It probably will come down to fuel mileage deal, and that's what it's looking like.
All right.
Not looking good for us. But I'd like to say hello to my daughter, Shelby. She'll be 3 months old tomorrow.
Okay, Shelby, start counting. He needs a few more laps on fuel mileage to make it here. Marty?
And Dave, the same case for Greg Biffle's team. They now sit in second. Randy Goss, his crew chief. That's why he has a built-in calculator on his clipboard. Well, you got a couple things going against you. Number one, you don't have any tires left, and number one, you're going to be short on fuel. But other than that, you think you got a chance to win this thing?
Well, I don't think we beat the 99. We're not quite there. We're not quite to our fuel window. So we'll see what happens here.
Your rival for the championship, Jason Keller, just came in for gas to try to go the rest of the way. Might you make that move?
Yeah, that was probably a smart move. I was talking to you.
Oh, now don't blame it on me. You just talked about it before that. They did discuss coming down pit road. They decided giving up second place was just too much to give up. Matt?
Marty, also a smart move by Jeff Green. Back on lap 114, he pitted because he felt he had a vibration in the right rear, and it was a good thing that he pitted because this is the right rear tire that came off his race car. You can see it is just flat worn out. 86 laps he went on a run on this set of tires because remember, he did come in and only took on gas on that one stop, but that right rear is completely worn out, Benny. He is now back in 24, 2 laps down.
And when they talk about wearing a tire out to the cord, that white is cord, and that's one danger with running that high line. If you go higher than anyone else, you're the first one up there. That track is green up there. It wears those tires. It's better to be down where some other cars have run. There is rubber.
All right, of the 9 cars on the lead lap, 5 of them just topped off the fuel.
Green flag, green flag.
74 laps to go. Ooh, it could be close.
Yeah, that was a smart move, though, on those guys' part, I think. That may make all the difference right there.
Guys that topped off the fuel, Jason Keller, Shane Meal, Mike McLaughlin, Bobby Hamilton Jr., and Jamie McMurray. 5 of the 9 on the lead lap. Guys that did not, Waltrip, Biffle, Riggs, and Nemechek.
Right now we've got the 23 car Wimmer trying to get up there and get a lap back. Also the 21 car Jeff Green trying to hustle to the front.
Let's back that up on Nemechek. He stopped for fuel 1 lap before everybody else. So that worked out in his favor. So that means 3 didn't stop, and 6 of them did.
And we're talking about, you know, 70-ish, 2-3 laps. Possibility some of these guys can make it. Yeah, Wimmer goes back behind the 21 car of Jeff Green, the 10 car of Scott Riggs.
Went green with 74 to go, Benny. So those guys that topped off on the 1 to go, topped off at 75 to go. That's still a lot of laps. I mean, I heard guys this morning, I didn't hear a lot of optimism where numbers into the 70s on fuel mileage was concerned. But some of these guys, what have they got to lose?
Yeah, I was going to say, they must think they can, or they wouldn't have done that.
Second place, Scott Riggs in the 10 underneath Greg Biffle. Not quite. But that doesn't mean he won't try again.
And he goes by Biffle, take over that second spot. I think that was a championship decision on Greg Biffle's part, just to move up the racetrack. Don't run down on the bottom of the racetrack with the other cars, because someone, you may have to jump off the throttle, someone running the back of you, get away from those cars.
Benny, you're a Winston Cup champion. you know, you see football teams go into the prevent defense and all of a sudden give up a lot of points in a hurry. What about a race driver going into the prevent defense where points are concerned in the championship? Well, how about this?
Scott Riggs going. Has anybody passed Michael Waltrip all day?
In the first few laps on the run.
Riggs just did it. Now,
let's see if he can stay out there for a while.
Back to your question. I think that right now Greg Biffle and those guys are in a prevent defense. I really do. But they're up front. They're close enough to the front to do that. And the guy that they're racing is behind them.
Yeah, I think that's the car he's concerned about. Is he's looking up in the mirror to see where Jason Keller is. That's the only one he's worried about right now.
Well, Jason Keller was one of the guys that topped off the fuel on that last caution. They must be pretty happy about that down on pit road. Matty, what do you think?
Let's talk to Steve Addington, the crew chief. Can your car go the distance without having to stop?
Well, we will see how this thing plays out here. Get a caution here quick. We'll see what happens. How many laps? It's going to be close.
How close is it, do you think? How many times have you worked the numbers?
It's right there within a couple of laps either way.
It is close either way. That would make a 75-lap run to the finish on it.
Couple laps either way.
And, you know, again, people monitor the TV broadcast. They monitor the radio broadcast. They monitor NASCAR. They monitor the other teams. And Steve Addington did not want to play his hand out in front of all the other teams and let them hear him say, I can make it or I can't make it.
Jason Keller just took 6th place away from Mike McLaughlin.
Marty, what do you got, Dan?
Well, I can shed a little light possibly on whether or not Jason Keller might be able to make it the rest of the way, because his teammate Scott Riggs thought about coming down pit road and topping off. His crew chief Harold Hawley said, nope, we're going to be about 4 laps short. So that's his teammate. You would think they would get fairly close fuel mileage, so that, you know, maybe a big risk for Jason Keller.
You never know. You don't know what gear they're running. There's a lot of variables there that play into this fuel mileage thing. All the other teammates, you know, if the car may be a little bit slicker on the body, might be getting better fuel mileage that way. What do you think, Matt?
Well, a lot depends on driving style. Winston Cup, we know that Jeff Gordon gets better fuel mileage than the 48, his teammate, but also with the 10 and the 57. The 57 tends to usually get better gas mileage. Just difference in driving style. Sometimes some guys are really hard on the gas. Sometimes they float it off the corner. And Keller does seem to get a little better fuel mileage on a consistent basis than his teammate.
If any of those cars stop that's trying to make it the rest of the way, if they brake, use the brake pedal with their right foot, they've got a chance. If they use their left foot to brake the car, then that's going to hurt them, because you can't imagine how many times that your right foot and your left foot pass each other going down in the corner. You're braking on the same time that you're on the throttle. Here comes Nemechek, battle for the 3rd position with Biffle.
Just to back up to Keller there for a second, you hear him have to lift off the gas coming on a turn 2 while we're on board there?
I think he almost lost it by the look of the camera there, and he looks like he got a little bit loose there and had to catch it.
Nemechek digging down low. Biffle running that higher line off turn 2. And again, this is the race for 3rd place.
Here goes Joe.
And I think that someone told Greg Biffle, all right, let him go. There's no one right behind him. It's just 5 points. You're still in front of Jason Keller.
And remember, Nemechek has topped off the fuel. The 2 in front of him now have not. Scott Riggs out in front of Michael Waltrip by 1 1/3 seconds, Marty.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. And here's the great thing for Scott Riggs. They really needed that caution, because he gets better the longer they run, and they were very good at the end of the last run. In fact, running kind of the same times as Michael Waltrip. So if we run green, they should be in good shape. Problem is, just like Michael Waltrip, they do indeed have to stop for fuel with about 10 laps to go if this race does stay green. But Scott has been working on his confidence lately. They came here to test, and it really helped him out. Gave him a real boost of confidence. He's been down on his luck lately. They need something good to happen on this team.
Been a brutal summer for Scott Riggs. Only 2 top 10 finishes in the last 14 races. He was a championship contender at one point. He's 8th in the standings now. Charges I've seen this season. He was a 2.5 seconds back and erased it all in 3 laps.
And just blew by Scott Riggs. And right now, Riggs is in the battle with Joe Nemechek for the second position.
There was the pass. I mean, when his, just like we've seen twice already today, when his tire pressures or whatever it was came up to where he needed them to be, goodbye. And there's the battle for second BP was talking about, with Riggs in the 10 trying to hold off Nemechek in the 87. On the lap car of Chad Chaffin, Joe Nemechek, the defending winner of this race. In that 87 car, led 98 laps on his way to victory lane last season. Two third-place finishes his last two races on in his 87 car for Nemechek. Nebraska, Texas A&M. Good one on TBS tonight. Big play Saturday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time from College Station.
And the 87 car pitted. I guess he has visions of making it the rest of the way. Let's talk to Brian Patty down there and see what he has to say. Dave?
Well, BP, I did that for you just a moment ago, and I said to Brian Patty, the crew chief, how close are you? And he said, close enough that we're not stopping.
There you go. Man. How long are they? I mean, this isn't a team that runs for the championship. They don't run all the races. The only thing they're here for is to win.
Ready for one thing, you're right, to try to win the race.
But they have to be close to begin with. You know,
yeah, what that
make that
lap
call.
or two.
Remember the situation in the Winston Cup race here last fall? Jerry Nadeau halfway down the back stretch on the final lap with a big lead and runs out of gas.
And the thing is with Joe, he came in a lap earlier than those other 5 or 6 cars that came in a top off.
A caution flag lap, though.
Yeah.
So you're not burning a whole lot of gasoline on one caution flag lap,
dumping some out, too.
But he got a lot of position. See, and not having to pass those 4 or 5 cars that pitted the lap after he did saved him some gasoline. He's able to ride around the racetrack in line now. He's trying to pass Scott Riggs right now, which is wasting a little bit of fuel, but he doesn't have to try to pass McLaughlin and Bobby Hamilton, Jamie McMurray, those other guys.
Coming up on 250 miles in this race.
I think I'd stay right where he is.
And draft.
Yep.
Six caution flags so far.
Pretty close there.
Pretty close to the fence right there for the 87 car Nemechek.
And only 9 cars on the lead lap. Michael Waltrip, Scott Riggs, Joe Nemechek, Greg Biffle, Jason Keller, Mike McLaughlin, Jamie McMurray, Bobby Hamilton Jr., and Shane Neal, who started last, by the way. Those are the 9 cars on the lead lap. Michael Waltrip has blistered this field today. Middle section of this race, he checked out on everybody. Had a, what did I say, a 9-second lead on second place just before that last caution came out.
It's like Joe's losing the handling a little bit there. He's sliding around quite a bit. See Jeff Green there, a 21 car. Unfortunately, he's 2 laps down because of that tire problem he had.
All right, Dave, find out from Brian Patty. Is Joe Nemechek all of a sudden in a gas-saving mode, or is his car, the chassis, going way? We'll put up Dave to a little job down there.
Doesn't feel right, man.
It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't look right, Joe. I'll tell you. Just like I said, last couple laps, he's been all over the track.
And at these kind of speeds, remember, you're doing 190 miles an hour when you go steaming off into turn 1. Something not feeling right is not good.
Like I said, a place like this is magnified because you're going so fast.
But Nemechek hanging in there for now in 3rd place. He is running about a second slower. 0.8 of a second slower than the leader, which is pretty significant.
Dave, what can you tell us about Joe's car?
I just went and checked with Brian Patty. He pointed to a note on his pad of paper that was from Joe's radio transmission that said something doesn't feel right.
Yeah, we heard that on the radio. And he may have just backed off just to, you know, get a feel for it, creep back up to it a little bit. Sometimes you got to do that.
And right now, Greg Biffle, the 4th place car, is closing in on Nemechek.
Solid day for Biffle so far in the championship. Biffle said earlier this weekend, looking ahead, that next weekend's race at Rockingham would be the one of the 3 remaining he was most uncomfortable with. He said he runs good there, but it's not his best track. But Homestead, Phoenix, here, he thought he had as good a shot to win as anyone. Rockingham's next weekend. Right now, Biffle is running in 4th spot behind Michael Waltrip, who's walking away from the field in the Aaron's 312. Cup Series runs the Napa 500 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. 12 noon Eastern time coverage begins on NBC. Tony Stewart and the other championship contenders all going to start at the front of the field because qualifying was rained out. Stewart, of course, the most recent winner here back in March. Should be a good one. Noon Eastern, NBC tomorrow. Michael Waltrip will be in the field for tomorrow's race. Perhaps holding a trophy.
You know, it's a shame they couldn't use this car tomorrow because it might be as fast as his Napa Chevrolet he'll be using tomorrow. Even though it is underpowered, 125, 50 horsepower. It's so fast.
Leading Scott Riggs by 5 seconds. BP 5.061. Hurting on him right now. Michael has led 5 different times today for 90 of the 165 laps that we've run. Let's go through the field, check up on some of these lead lap cars and a few others. Starting with the leader in Dave.
And now, like a football team trying to run up the score, the 99 car is trying to run up that lead that he has over the rest of the field. They know they can't make it on fuel. Crew Chief Bobby Kennedy said, get all you can because we're going to have to stop again. Marty?
Well, Dave, Scott Riggs is giving it all he's got in 2nd place, but after Michael Waltrip reeled him in like a baby smallmouth bass, they were very quick on the radio. They said, hey, don't worry about it. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. Be patient. We'll get him. If he finishes in the top 5 today, it'll be his first since Kentucky in June, Dave.
Marty, we reported before that the 87 is going to try to make it to the end, but the last radio transmission picked up from Joe was that something feels funny in the left rear. That's why the car has slowed down. Marty, back to you.
Greg Biffle's been busy on the radio wondering where the 99 is running on the racetrack, what line he's taken. He's taken a little bit of a higher line than he's been taking for most of the day. Remember, these guys do have to stop again. Car's a little tight for Greg, Matt.
Marty and 9 previous starts. Jason Keller has never scored a top 5 finish here in Atlanta. Currently runs in the 5th position. Steve Adding told me at this juncture they are a lap to a lap and a half short of making it the distance. Marty.
Same story for Mike McLaughlin, about a lap to a lap and a half short. The car's a little bit tight right now. On the radio, they're telling him conserve as much fuel as you can. Mike has a new job. They announced that this morning, starting with a brand new Busch Series team next year, Dave.
Jamie McMurray, they came in and put on 4 tires at lap 122 under caution. His car was a little bit tight. They adjusted the air pressures for that. Then he came back in on lap 128, still under caution, and topped off the car. They're going for it. Marty?
Dave, Bobby Hamilton Jr. is back in the 8th position. He is tight right now, just can't get back on the gas like he wants to. This team is trying to go all the way on fuel. They're about 2 laps short. Here's his dad, Bobby Hamilton Sr., trying to guide him around the racetrack in the best line. Matt?
Marty, what a weekend for young rookie Shane Meal. He ran 2 laps in practice and blew the motor. They had to make an educated guess in the setup, and so far it has worked. His crew chief, Jerry Kinnan, told him, conserve fuel from here on out, and we should be fine. Shane said, how do I conserve fuel? Jerry said, I don't know, but saying that just makes me feel all that much better.
That's a good question. How do you conserve? I mean, you know, you got to run fast enough to not to get run over. I mean, just be smooth, Shane.
One of those things a rookie has to learn through experience, huh?
Well, NASCAR spotters talking about some possible debris in turn 1.
But it got hit by a car, and now there's no more debris in turn 1.
Okay.
We stay under green. 33 to go for Michael Waltrip. The lead holding steady on Scott Riggs. Wonder if he's kind of throttled back a little bit, thinking fuel.
Now that's a good way to conserve fuel. Get a 6-second lead, then you can just back off a little bit.
It's too bad he didn't have overdrive in the transmission. He could just kick in overdrive and turn about 1,000 less RPMs, and he would get a lot better fuel mileage.
Do it.
But I doubt if he has overdrive.
Michael Waltrip seeking his 2nd Busch Series victory of the season. Won at Michigan back in August. Best finish here in Atlanta, third on a couple of occasions, including last year and back in 1993. Finished second last race out he ran in Charlotte. He's got a great record here, VP. He's led 6 of the 8 Atlanta Busch Series races that he's run.
And Michael Waltrip gets around this racetrack very, very well. As a matter of fact, in the first happy hour, or the last practice yesterday, just prior to qualifying, or qualifying was supposed to happen, it was rained out. Michael Waltrip, I looked up on the board, had the fastest speed in NASCAR Winston Cup practice.
Let's listen here. Listening to the throttle.
Okay.
How much he's using here.
We know
how much he's not using when he gets into the corners. Out the gas. He's not very aggressive with it.
No, he's not. I think he's easing back in the throttle, and about the time he gets to the straightaway, then he goes to the mat.
So that'd be one way to conserve fuel. Be easy on the throttle.
And what you don't want to do is go on, off, on, off.
Right. That's what he could do right now. He could just plan it. And he's going down on it real easy. Okay, Matt. Let's hear it.
Okay, Wally. Now, if you're running Michael Waltrip's line, aren't you running a lot longer distance around this racetrack, thus using more fuel?
That would be true. Affirmative. So you're saying that he could move down from the bottom of the racetrack and run a shorter distance and use less fuel?
10-4.
Yeah, but if you're running a low line, you're putting more steering into it, coming off the corner.
Which will use more fuel.
So you're putting more work on the engine.
Leader ran up on Larry Gunselman being overtaken by Kenny Wallace. A little close call there. How about it, Dave?
But their strategy only has 2 options for them right now. Outdistance the field no matter what the cost as far as fuel goes, because they can't make it all the way, or outdistance the field and let some rain come. I just walked back and checked the weather radar. There is rain in the area, and they've been doing the rain dance down here trying to get it to rain right now and finish this race.
All right, so Dave, catch us up again. What lap is Michael going to have to stop for fuel?
Go ahead, Alan. They said they'd be about 12 laps short.
Okay.
So, but now they're looking at maybe, well, they may push that on into that envelope that they talked about, but originally they thought they were going to be about 11 or 12 laps short.
So somewhere around 10 to go, Michael's going to have to come on pit road if we don't see a caution.
Yep, exactly.
Or he's going to run it out.
He's going to run till he sees the fuel pressure gauge start fluctuating. And then he'll pit. And if he has one of those pickup tubes that it doesn't fluctuate, he'll run out.
Of course, again, Michael's one of those guys, doesn't run all the races, not in for championship points. You know, if he doesn't win, they'll certainly have known he was here.
And it would be great to take the sponsor's car to Victory Lane with all the pictures and everything else. I mean, his sponsor, Aaron's, is the same sponsor of the race. That would be great. But if he has to stop and somebody doesn't, he's not going to win anyway.
Dominant today for Michael Waltrip. He's led 104 laps. The next most laps led, 39 by Jeff Green. Talked about some things at the top of the day that we said we were going to keep an eye on. Speed and experience.
Well, the inexperienced guys have done a pretty good job today.
Yeah, they have. I've been very impressed with those young guys.
Would we race to full distance? Looks like we're going to. Biffle is running 4th. Keller is running 6th. The 105-point lead would be 120 if they finish that way.
Not a lot of change there in the championship.
Yeah. Biffle has led a lap, and Keller has not also. That accounts for an extra 5 points of that gap.
And Michael Waltrip has definitely been grooving in Atlanta, up in that high groove.
What they used to say about Harry Gant, high, wide, and handsome. Michael.
Is that what you used to say about Harry?
No, I've heard that about Harry. That's not what I used to say. You never heard that said about Harry? No. He was one of those guys that always went right to the top lane, too.
I know that. I can see that.
What about Wally's car that started the race getting knocked around a little bit down into turn 1?
It's in one piece. Actually, he's done a pretty good job, 22nd to 43rd.
There's some wood. Knock on that. Still got 22 laps to go.
Let me knock on your head.
Thank you. Waller's supposed to run that car again in 2 weeks at Phoenix. And so a decent day for Tommy Baldwin Racing.
I get to take that yellow tape off the bunker.
Yeah, that's right. So Wally would definitely not be a rookie.
So Damon Lusk making...
now he's run here in Arkansas, I believe.
Yes, he has.
He's got some laps around here.
He might have won a race in Arkansas.
He's done a good job today.
Yeah, this is his second Busch Series start ever.
And Richmond was a short one for him.
Yeah.
He was in the wall pretty quick.
All of a sudden, Greg Biffle seems to be slowing down more dramatically than the competition. I don't know if something's wrong with the car or the chassis has just gone away.
How about fuel save mode?
Look at that. The leader's running 174, 2 miles per hour slower than Michael Waltrip. Marty, why are they saying that? Is anything?
How about a little of both? The chassis is going away, and they are trying to save fuel. He says the car just won't turn anymore, BP. The right front's giving up, just sliding the nose from the middle of the corner off. They are indeed about 8 laps short, and I think they are trying to conserve a little bit of fuel. I think the greater problem, however, is that the right front just is not turning for him, and they're just sliding the nose from the middle of the corner off. He has tried to combat that by trying to run the higher line. A lot of times when your car is tight, the higher line will help, but it's not helping Greg right now.
19 laps to go.
You know, Greg Biffle has used all the tires that he has that he can change on the caution flag. Now, if he makes the pit stop on the green, he can change tires. I guess he can put on new tires then.
Right, but if a caution comes out, it's not going to help him. No. In fact, it really hurt him if there's other guys who have tires left.
Then he's got to put on his cleanest, dirty shirt.
Yeah.
The best set of used tires that he has. Matt, what about Shane Meal?
Well, about 10 or so laps ago, his crew chief Jerry Kinnan said to Shane, well, 30 laps to go. Have you saved any fuel? And Shane said, I don't know. Remember, I don't know how to save fuel. The spotter chimed in, well, if you had AC, you could turn that off, and that would save some fuel. Shane was like, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's not an option.
Starting to see some cars drop off the pit road. Scott Wimmer was just in for a green flag stop. Randy LaJoie is in now.
And that's Joe Nemechek's team car. Talking about LaJoie.
Yeah, but he... Well, now let me...
Did he come in with that crew?
That's what I'm going back to check. No, he did not.
No.
Told that the 47 car lost his spokes a little bit and slapped the wall just a moment ago. And that's what Michael Waltrip, as good as his car is right now, as far in front of all these other cars, he's got to really pay attention to his focus and make sure that his mind doesn't start wondering about how he's going to thank his sponsor and all that stuff in victory lane.
Second place here. 10 cars. Scott Riggs has it. The 87 of Nemechek is trying to get it. 21 of Jeff Green is a couple of laps down. 18th place. Made a green flag pit stop. Then a caution came out.
Get it.
So whatever Nemechek felt was wrong, he's gotten over or talked himself through anyway. And Jeff Green coming to pit road.
And Mike McLaughlin has gone by Biffle. Move into the 4th position. There he is.
I'm telling you what, this is going to get interesting to see if any of these guys can make it on fuel. Michael Waltrip, the leader, heads for pit road. 14 laps to go now for Michael. Dave?
And Mark Paris is the fueler who will put it in there for a count of 1,001, 1,002 from crew chief Bobby Kennedy. He leaves. That should be all the fuel he needs to get to the end.
And I'll tell you something else they have to make sure of is when they're doing these splash and dashes, don't take that fuel can outside the pit box still connected to the race car.
And don't speed on pit road. Pit road speed 45 miles per hour. And after you've been running 170, 80, 190 miles per hour, that seems like you're walking.
Michael Waltrip has led 114 of the 190 laps that have been run. May not get to lead the last one if anybody else can make it on fuel. Dave?
The 5 car of David Green on and off pit road for a splash and dash. They were running 12 just a lap off the pace, and this is David Green's 250th career start. But you know what? He wouldn't even be in this car if it hadn't been for a test here at this track by driver Ricky Hendrick, who that day decided to hang up his racing helmet.
Now, you know, something we got to keep an eye on too is if somebody runs out of gas and doesn't make back to pit lane, that'll bring the yellow out. That'll change a lot.
You mean like Mark Green there?
Like Mark Green, but he's coming off turn 4, so it looks like he's going to make it. And Scott Riggs is on pit road. The car in second spot. Marty, coming to you.
Yeah, he is, BP, and they actually considered putting on some tires here, but then Harold Hawley thought better of that. This is just going to be a splash and go for the man that's in second place. Again, trying to get his first top 5 since Kentucky in June. They need 3 seconds of fuel, and that's it. They clean the grill a little bit. 1, 2, 3. There he goes. That's 3 seconds of fuel. They have to make it the rest of the way.
Joe Nemechek now the leader. 87 car up by 3 3/4 seconds on Mike McLaughlin.
And I tell you what, Mike McLaughlin in that 18 car has been very fast here in the last 15-20 laps.
Now we're down to everybody that's left. I shouldn't say that. Hang on. Biffle hasn't stopped yet.
McLaughlin hasn't stopped.
Yeah, but I was going to say we're down to the guys who topped off the fuel. Except for Biffle.
I got you.
Michael Waltrip pitted. He had not topped off the fuel. Rich pitted. He hadn't topped off. So once Biffle stops, then we're down to the guys who took the splash. And
we're trying to make it.
And we're counting laps. That's right. Here's the 4th place race now. Jason Keller, Jamie McMurray. Remember that 57 car ran out of gas at Charlotte, tried to stretch the fuel a couple of races ago. Cost him a chunk of points to Biffle. Will the tide be turned today?
Biffle's on pit road. The championship leader is on pit road. Coming to you, Marty.
Yeah, BP, and remember we talked about how the right front was really giving up on Biffle's car. He was screaming for some right side tires, but with 13 laps to go, now 12 laps to go, that's just not enough time to take these right side tires, take a chance, lose a lot of track position. It will be 2 seconds of fuel for Greg Biffle. Tim Coffey, the gas man, puts it in. 1, 2, there they go. Now he can make it the rest of the way on fuel.
Shane Meal is also on pit road, and here's that race again. Now for 3rd place, McMurray in the 27th. Try to make a run to the front late. Got the spot. Well, maybe.
He's got it.
Another nice job for Jamie McMurray. You could just see the confidence in this kid's driving, too.
That win in the Winston Cup race at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte certainly didn't hurt anything.
All right. Nemechek, McLaughlin.
Joe's got his eyes glued to that fuel pressure gauge right now. He is watching that gauge because that's going to tell him if he's running low.
Here and Jason Keller should be coming to pit road for a splash of fuel. Larry Foyt out of fuel. And here comes Keller.
It's a huge break for. Uh-oh. Is the 14 car going to make it back? I guess he is. But the 57 car having to stop for fuel is a huge break for Biffle, Matt.
Sure is, Benny. Here he comes into his pit stall. They only need about 2.5 seconds of fuel. 1,001, 1,002. Kennedy, he almost stalls the car. The guys are ready to push him off if he needed to. Benny?
Now then, let's see where he and Biffle come out in relationship to each other.
Well, Biffle was ahead of him before.
And there he goes. Yes, he's still going to continue to be in front of him.
Well by him. Michael Waltrip is back up to 3rd. Biffle, well, we'll check it next time they come by. See where Keller cycles out after the pit stops. Larry Foyt did make it around to pit road, by the way.
Nemechek completes another lap.
Shane Meal is back in. or is on pit road. Was he just in?
Got a right front.
Yeah, he was
right
just
front's
in.
down. Looks like he hit the wall there.
Yep. That's too bad. Good run come to an end.
Oh, slipped those pits. Got to back up. Almost ran over the tire chain. The wrong gear.
Here you go.
Jerry Kevin.
That's too bad. All right.
McLaughlin is off the racetrack. He's on the pit road.
Mike moved up to second spot. Now he's in. That's puts Michael Waltrip back up to third. McMurray to second behind Nemechek. Marty.
Yeah, they really thought they could make it all the way, and he's kind of got to dodge as you see some of the teams trying to get their cars fired on pit road. He's got to dodge some of these guys and all the pit crew members. They thought they could make it all the way, and then Tim Shutt, the crew chief, said, we just can't chance it. In fact, the car is out. No, it's not. It is running, so they get a little bit of fuel in, and there he goes.
That was a very little bit of fuel as Joe Nemechek goes by, makes another lap.
And goes by slow.
Yeah, Joe is about half throttle right now.
He's got a 6-second lead on McMurray. 14 seconds on Michael Waltrip.
And he's out of gas. Is he? He's out of gas, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not going to make it to the white flag, I don't think.
Stay on the racetrack.
All right, where's Michael Waltrip?
Where's McMurray?
Yeah, McMurray is second.
McMurray is second.
Well, I'm looking for Michael, too, because Michael was closing in on McMurray, I thought. White flag is up.
Jimmy McMurray is right there.
Here comes McMurray. There's your leader. 1 lap to go. Dave.
And Jamie McMurray stopped exactly 1 lap after Joe Nemechek did to top off. That's the only lap he may need.
Watching to see if he makes it back around under power. Jamie McMurray has never won a NASCAR Busch Series race. That would be the first lap he led all day at the white flag. Does the fuel hold up? He's got it. Checkered flag for Jamie McMurray. He steals the win away in the Aaron's 312 at Atlanta.
And that lap may have been all that, you know, Joe came in at 1 lap. Could have been it.
And Joe Nemechek still on the racetrack, has not completed all these laps.
Well, he's still on the lead lap. If he can coast it all the way back around to the start-finish line, he'll finish at least 7th.
Now he needs to cross the line. He's on pit road, but he needs to come all the way down pit road, all the way down pit road to the start-finish line.
Brian Patty talking to him there on the radio. And
okay,
checkered flag. Nemechek will finish 6th. How about Jamie McMurray? A couple of weeks after his first NASCAR Winston Cup win, he gets his first NASCAR Busch Series win for Clarence Brewer in that 2017.
Tell you what, for Clarence and all those guys could not have come at a better time because looking for sponsorship for this 27 car next year. And it's obviously a pretty good race car.
You know what? I don't know about that motor right now, BP, because it's not running at the moment.
I think he's out of gas. I think he's out of fuel.
No surprise. Dave?
Jason Ratcliffe looks a little bit stunned here. Jason, how about winning this thing on gas mileage with just 1 lap to go?
Well, it's incredible. I tell you, we had a lot of bad luck in the pits, and that second run, Jamie just drove the wheels off of it, kept us on the lead lap, and we've been wanting to win one on fuel mileage, but we had awesome race car too. These guys put a great race car on the racetrack, and the Williams Travel Center team. It's just an honor for me to work for them, and just want to thank God. Jeff Purvis showed up this week, and he's our good luck charm, and I'm going to bring him next week, even if he doesn't want to go.
That's great. Hey, did you think about stopping when Joe Nemechek stopped and then told him at the last minute to stay out until the final lap?
No, we came to win. I mean, if we'd have ran out, yeah, we'd have finished, I don't know who were, you know, but we came to win. We needed this bad. These guys needed it. Nobody works harder than they do. And we only got 3 left. We had to do something.
Okay, you know where victory lane is, Jason? The car went that way, so go celebrate, my friend.
Thank you, man.
Jason Ratcliffe, crew chief on the 27 car for Jamie McMurray.
And guys in the Busch garage here tell me that Jason's a very talented young man.
Jamie McMurray becomes the 100th driver in NASCAR Busch Series history to score a victory. 6th different first-time winner this season. Marty?
The new golden boy of NASCAR. I introduce to you Jamie McMurray. How about that? Can you give me some of your magic, please? Can you just share it a little bit?
I just got so much luck on our side right now. We had really bad pit stops at the beginning.
There is Jason Radcliffe. Very nice.
Make it took a gamble on fuel, and our car just got better. They adjusted on it the whole time, and it just kept getting better every time. So really happy. I mean, you don't ever want to win that way, but we had a pretty good car. We were doing the top 5, I felt like, anyway, but 99 car was awful fast all day. I mean, we had nothing for him. We were about a 7th place car, but a lot of luck involved in this, and we had some today.
Did the fuel gauge fluctuate at all, and were you watching it on those last few laps? I'm sure. What were you watching the racetrack, and how much was on the fuel gauge?
Just trying to be really smooth on the gas and off the gas, and trying to conserve a little bit, but not really. I mean, they told me I could make it, but I was going to do a better burnout, but I ran out of gas over there. So really happy for Williams Travel Centers, though. They're not coming back next year, and this is great for them. They deserve it.
All right, and now you can go win your Winston Cup car tomorrow, right?
Now, look, I learned this.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't thank the car manufacturer when I won the Cup race.
There you go.
Thank you, Chevrolet.
Very good, very good. Jamie McMurray in victory lane, a hug from his girlfriend, Cielo, and lots of guys celebrating.
Jamie McMurray, the first-time Busch Series winner at Atlanta. Jeff Gordon got his first Busch Series win here in '92. Mike Skinner in '99. Jamie McMurray comes out on top today on an economy run. We'll be back. Series championship standings, now 3 races to go. Jason Keller losing about 14 points to Greg Biffle today. On to Rockingham next Saturday for the championship duo. Dave.
Well, it's a good bounce back this week for Greg Biffle, finishing 5th here today. Greg, we thought we saw a couple times out there today where you were being conservative with your car. Was that the case, or did it just not drive well?
I had to be conservative. You know, last week cost us a whole bunch. 02 car, Bennett wasn't in the field this week, so just felt that I would be cautious with the rest of the guys. And they got racing 3 wide here on down the front stretch, and I elected to give up a little there and just race a little harder later on. But had a pretty good car. It kind of sucks it came down to fuel mileage. Congratulations to McMurray for his first Busch win, but I wish we could have raced him, you know, heads up with some more tires. And we had a pretty good car. The guys were a little better than us on the short runs, but top 5, I'm real happy.
All right, he takes one more step toward the 2002 championship in the Busch Series. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Dave, the number 2 is appropriate for Michael Waltrip and Jason Keller, 2nd in points and 2nd in rate. First off, go Daddy, your 57 lucky t-shirt paid off last week. How would you describe today, Jason?
I'd describe it as a great day for the Albertsons Ford, and the driver here of the Albertsons Ford is not really good here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So for us to come through with a 7th place finish, I'm just tickled to death. And my lucky t-shirt from Joe and Jade worked again, and just a fantastic day. You know, I was telling Michael if it would have been the Aaron's 300, he probably would have won, but it's the sponsor's fault because the race is so long, he didn't have enough gas. But just a great day for the entire team.
Well, Jason Keller matches his best career finish here at Atlanta. Now, what about that? Do you think you might talk to your sponsor next year, maybe changing the length?
No, 12 miles is, what, 7 laps or 8 laps? So I ran out, or I was going to be out on about 390 or 190. So
that's a lot of math for you.
You ought to see me out there trying to drive and do all that. And I had my shoes on, too, so that's almost impossible. But I figured up anyway that the drama of 12 extra miles today in the Aaron's 312 is not what cost us the victory. It's just that Jamie's car got a little bit better mileage. But I'm real proud to represent our sponsor, Aaron's, like we did today, to run up front all day long and have a performance like we did today. I know it makes them feel good to sponsor the race and the car with us performing like that. I got to get on Caitlin and Macy. I need me a darn shirt like that. Girls, you better get busy.
They better get busy. And Marty Starr, the only time I think Michael Waltrip saw the bottom was actually when he exited and entered a pit road. Marty?
Joe Nemechek, clearly the most disappointed guy. Jamie pitted 1 lap after you under caution. Was that the difference?
At the end, I mean, yes, but I thought I was conserving enough fuel that run that we were going to make it. Cellular One, Nortel Networks, Wagner Motors, awesome power. Had everything we needed. I mean, I was just cruising around there just trying to save gas, and I'm like, man, we're leading this thing, and then all of a sudden, boy, that's sheer disappointment right there. Holy moly.
Allen?
All right. Joe Nemechek wound up in 6th place after running out of fuel, leading this thing, coming to the finish. There were the results. The Aaron's 312 today, all kinds of characters, both on the racetrack and in the grandstand. A couple of wild moments early in the race, but all in all, a safe day. Michael Waltrip dominated, but Jamie McMurray took the victory on fuel mileage. Tomorrow, the Napa 500 coverage at noon Eastern on NBC, starting with Discover Card Countdown to Green. Next, Firestarter on the East Coast, and the world's most dramatic police chases on the West Coast. See ya.